Diagnosis and Theory. Welcome, Ruby.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you
It's
here.
a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and then we also have Miss Danelle Porche of
Hello.
SOAR.
Hello, everyone. I so missed you. I missed you guys last week. Hello. Hey.
Hey, hello. Welcome, ladies. This is going to be a great show. We're going to be talking about the power of the pivot. But first, we're going to get into trending topics. Next, we're going to get into trending topics. But right now, let's talk a little bit of the power of the pivot.
Okay.
Ruby, this topic is really special to me, and I know that it is to you, too. What are you thinking?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for that lovely introduction.
Absolutely.
I think I should just be real with the people and let them know Daisy and I have known each other for a long, long time. And so to hear you talk about my professional identity is just a little different.
It is.
Really, we're friends. You know, you started my locks all many years ago.
Yes.
And so first, it's just an honor just to be here and to, be part of this. I know, Dr. Pam wishes she could be here. She's probably watching. Shout out to Dr. Pam.
Shout out to warm well wishes.
I hope we're not driving her nuts doing anything wrong. We're going to do the best we can. But when she reached out to me about talking about change and the power of the pivot, I thought, this is, perfect, obviously going into New Year, where people are thinking about how they can make changes in their life. And it can be a lot of pressure. And then there's some people who are really super optimistic, and then there are other people who are very pessimistic or cynical, right? Because change can happen at any time.
Yes.
But it's natural for us to want to make changes when we're at different cycles in life and cycles in the year, or even cycles in a week, or definitely cycles in a month, right? So it's natural for people to honor a big cycle like a year, just like we honor our birthdays, we honor holidays, we honor, unfortunately, things like death anniversaries. I shouldn't say unfortunately, it's important to honor those. And so I just want to first talk about that piece, that yes, people want to change in the new year, but people want to change, period. And what they want to change, that's what I think is important for us to get to. We know the big ones are health and well-being, relationships, career, and just general bad habits that people want to change. And I think in order for people to be successful with making changes, they actually have to get to the root of what has kept them from making those changes before. So it's not enough to just want it. You have to actually understand the root causes, underlying trends and bad habits, if you will, that lead to the difficulties that you're having or the thing that you want to be different in your life.
Absolutely. I love that. And we're going to get into some research later that's going to support a lot of the things you're saying, and to give some main points on how to actually hold yourself accountable, how to identify what needs to be changed, and to be able to hold yourself accountable, what needs to be done,
right,
and how to pull other people in to help you, to support you in those changes.
Exactly.
So I think that's great. I love what you're saying there.
You don't have to go it alone.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and you can't go it alone. I mean, just like we have to admit that we need change, we also have to admit that we need help.
I mean, you could go it alone, but you might not go very far. So, that's part of the challenge. Some people don't want to let people know about changes they want to make because they will get embarrassed. What if I don't make it? People are going to know that I tried to do this thing. But the truth is, most of what we do in total isolation cultivates shame.
Oh.
Okay. So to me, it's like, it's okay to make a mistake. Everyone messes up. Everyone has, challenges. But to being secret about it is sometimes actually what keeps people sick. And that's something that they say in kind of addiction work, which is not necessarily something I'm here to talk about, but a lot of people want to change addiction. So.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to talk some more about that. But right now, we are going to get into our trending topics.
Okay.
Lack of diversity gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
Today's trending topics are brought to you by Heavenly Helpers Assistance. Need assistance for yourself or your loved ones? Call on Heavenly Helpers Assistance. Uncompromising excellence and commitment to care. Go to www.heavenlyhelpersassistance.com for more information. Okay, so we got a couple things we need to dig into here today. First of all, we had two major deaths that I want us to talk about. One of them is Amanda Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. The morning news anchor for CBS 46 and a fixture on Atlanta television screens has tragically died on December 27th, 2017.
Yeah.
Ironically, she was on her way to her father's funeral.
Yes, and I thought that was so like I didn't know she was 62.
She is 62?
Yeah.
That was? Wow, she
Was.
looked amazing.
It was the melanin magic.
I'm just saying, I
Black
was
girl
like,
magic, hashtag.
But yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Oh,
and
my
I was in
goodness.
Greensboro hearing the information, so I was just like, you
And
know,
she was
sending
right
prayers.
there in the airport, right? Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Well, and I think, I don't know all the details surrounding it, but I think she had a stroke or
Yes, she
something
did.
heart related.
She had a
And
massive stroke.
yeah, and certainly stress
Yes.
can induce stroke in people who already have underlying heart related and conditions and high blood pressure and that sort of thing. And a lot of times people like to downplay stress and how it actually affects us physically, but it does have a big effect. And so it's actually not uncommon for people who have a loved one pass to then be more compromised in their health.
Yes.
And we see this a lot of times with couples who have been together a long time. One dies, and then not too long after
The other one
dies.
goes.
And so, and managing stress and having support make a huge difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a big loss for Atlanta. People some of us who've never met her but have watched her since we were kids.
Yes.
Really grieving.
Yes,
And so,
I loved her. I thought she was amazing.
yeah. And she was so honest. I just want to say that. She was so
Really?
open about her vulnerabilities, open about her problems with alcoholism, her sadness around having she was engaged, but then the marriage didn't follow through.
Okay.
And she just opened her heart to people. And this is why you see so many people in Atlanta have a heart for her, because she was, the definition of keeping it real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. I'm going to look into that. I want to see some more about those because I didn't know. I knew she was struggling with addiction, but I didn't know she was very open
Yeah.
about it. So I definitely want to know more about her struggles. I think she was a very beautiful woman and
Inside and out.
Inside and out, yes. Also, too, Erica Garner, the daughter of police chokehold victim Eric Garner,
Yeah.
died on December 30th.
27
at
years
the
old.
age of 27.
Yeah.
I mean, this,
This
she had a heart attack.
This is another stress-induced.
Yes.
It
Okay.
was stress induced, but I think it was also after she either had a pregnancy.
Yes.
She just had a
Yeah.
baby.
She just had a baby.
And it's so important for women to be out there and be due diligent when it comes to
Well,
postpartum.
and it's all connected. I shared something on my Facebook page about Erica Garner's death because of this topic about minority women, African American women, Black women, however you want to call us, and our mortality rates postpartum. That we are having increased risk. I think it's 10 times the risk of white women who are high school educated, even college educated Black women, 10 rates higher death postpartum. And this is why I'm calling it stress induced, because what medicine has always tried to look at, why do we have these health disparities? Why are we having these differences in mortality amongst people of color? Is it access to health care? What is it? And so even when you look at everyone having equal access to health care and you make everything else even, Black women and even Black babies are having higher mortality rates.
Oh, my
And so
goodness.
Erica Garner, what she went through with the death of her father in New York,
Yeah.
and for those who aren't following, I know some people watch who may not be as involved or engaged in this topic, but Eric Garner was the one who was saying that he couldn't breathe when the police were holding his head down onto the pavement and had their knee on his neck back, and he, of course, tragically died. And you'll see the people with the T-shirts that say "I can't breathe," and they're in reference to him. And she became really a forefront in speaking out.
Yeah, she became like an activist
Right.
after that.
Right. And so when I say stress, we talk about fight, flight, or freeze. your whole autonomic nervous system goes into reactive mode and secretes all these stress hormones to help us deal with the battle ahead. And when you're in a heightened state of stress constantly, or you have a spike like a death of a loved one, like we just talked about with Amanda, I'm saying her first name like I
you
knew
know her.
Then that's what leads to, that's why I'm calling these stress induced. We're not living in some isolation. We are affected by what happens around us. I know a lot of people think there might have been more to play with regard to Erica Garner's death, but I think it's simply that, she was heartbroken.
Yeah.
And I think same thing with Amanda. I think when you're heartbroken and you've had a lot of stressors, eventually the heart, if you will give out.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I'm not saying that's scientific. I got some scientific basis
it's
for
worth
saying
looking
that,
deeper.
but I
It's
absolutely think it's
everything.
true.
I think
Yeah.
it's everything, especially when you're having a baby, there's stress in itself.
Yes,
Right.
So
yes.
not only are you having stress mentally, but also physically, and then
Yeah.
how are you healing?
Right.
So it's multifaceted. So, I just,
Yeah,
so
and
it
we
was
need
very
to-
unfortunate.
And we need to talk about this some more. I think this is a whole nother show because Ruby and I, we talked about this and, the things that we have taken on during our lifetime and the lifetimes
Yes.
of our ancestors.
Exactly,
So,
historical trauma.
yeah, so we have some other trending topics to discuss, but, we can move on. I definitely want to talk about the police officer in Wichita that shot and killed the 28-year-old man after the prank call. That's huge. But anyway, so we'll get back to that. We're going to go to a quick break and we'll be back
Okay.
with more trending topics.
All right.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
In the interest of science, 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 science.
Hey, everybody. Right now, we're going to talk about the science behind New Year's resolutions. And our science today is brought to you by Red Door Consulting. Red Door Consulting, a boutique management consulting firm that prides itself as an innovative leader in brand development. Let Red Door Consulting upgrade you and your business today. Visit them at www.reddoorconsulting8.com. That's Red Door Consulting, the number 8.com. Okay, for some people, it takes something radical for them to change their ways. It took a medical diagnosis to make me give up alcohol and caffeine, or it took a pregnancy for me and my partner to give up smoking. To change your day-to-day behavior, you also have to change your thinking. But there are tried and tested ways that you can help people, to stick to their resolutions. And here are my personal favorites. So we're going to just go over these real quick. There's some rules that you can stick to help you to actually make your resolutions come into fruition. Okay, so for number one, we're going to say be realistic. Okay, you need to begin making resolutions that you can keep and that are practical. If you want to reduce your alcohol intake because you tend to drink alcohol every day, don't immediately just go cold turkey. Try to cut out alcohol every other day, or have a drink once every other 3 days. Also, breaking up the longer-term goals into more manageable short-term goals can be beneficial and more rewarding. The same principles can be applied to exercise or eating more healthy. What do you think, Ruby?
I mean, I think those are great tips. You making your goals or your action steps manageable is important, because changing behavior or changing your life is really a matter of changing your habits. And so we didn't develop habits, generally speaking, overnight. We develop habits over time. So if you want to make a change, you actually have to change what you're doing, and you have to keep at practicing that change.
Yes.
Within the past couple of months, there's been a few videos really espousing the power of, and this is something very simple, but I'm going to mention it anyway, the power of making up your bed every morning.
Oh my God, Des tells me that same thing. He's like, that's the one thing. You can't control anything else in your life. You can control making up your bed.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Like, I used to be the type of person that thought, hey, I'm just going to get back in the bed eventually. It doesn't really matter if the bed is made.
That's me.
But I think that was my mindset because I wasn't making my bed.
Right.
But when you start to actually make your bed every day, and I go through phases where I do it every day for a year, and then I might fall off for a couple of months, which might be symbolic of whatever's going on in my life. But when you make that bed every day, you are setting the stage for your day.
Yes.
You are saying, I'm going to bring this to completion, and I'll bring my next, action steps to completion as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, I love that. I mean, I think that's very realistic.
Yeah.
And then also we have do one thing at a time. So don't try to just bog yourself down with all these
Too many
things.
changes.
Yeah, that you have to do. So we're gonna jump into this a little bit more right now. We're gonna go to a break, and we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
All right.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate
donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Meet former Dallas Cowboy Sherman Williams as he makes his way through Atlanta to Arlington, Texas for the release of Crimson Cowboy, Peace Between the Lines. Don't miss your time to gain valuable insight on how to avoid the pitfalls of success. For appearance information, please go to info@palmerwilliamsgroup.org.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back. I'm Daisy Mack and on the Live Exchange, and we're talking about the science behind New Year's resolutions, steps that we can take to make our New Year's resolutions very real changes in our lives. So the first step we talked about was being realistic. Okay, you want to set realistic goals, make little bite-sized goals if that's what you need to do. Number 2, do one thing at a time. One of the easiest routes to failure is to have too many resolutions. So just break it up, okay? Just do a little bit at a time. And number 3, be smart. Anyone working in a job that includes setting goals will know that goals should be smart. That is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Resolutions shouldn't be any different. Cutting down alcohol drinking is an admirable goal, but it's not smart. Drinking no more than 2 units of alcohol every day for a month is a smart resolution. Connecting the resolution to a specific goal can also be motivating. For example, dropping a dress size or losing 2 inches off your waistline in time for the next summer holiday. Okay, so be smart. Make sure that those goals are measurable and time-bound and all those things that are included in SMART goal setting. Another thing is to tell someone your resolutions. Let family and friends know that you have New Year's resolutions that you really want to keep. Well, this will act both as a safety barrier and a face saver. If you really want to cut down smoking or drinking, real friends won't put temptation in your way. So include your loved ones, include your families, and let them hold you responsible for making those changes. Okay? And then number 5, change your behavior with others. Trying to change habits on your own can be difficult. For instance, if you and your partner both smoke, drink, and eat unhealthily, it's really hard for one partner to change their behavior if the other is still engaged in the same old bad habits. By having the same resolutions, such as going on a diet, this changes the success, the chances of success will improve greatly. I love this because there's so many resources now with Facebook groups and, like for instance, the Fitbit, know, and people have the little Fitbit groups.
Yeah, I have a cousin who sent me a Fitbit challenge this week, and I didn't accept. Now, let me just tell you why, though. Because I got different Fitbit challenges with different family members, and my cousin, he somehow manages to make like 20 to 25,000 steps a day. And I'm more trying to get to 10,000. Okay. Which is like the recommended amount for heart health.
Right.
And so, it is important to have support. And I love my cousin. Shout out to my cousin if he's watching. But yeah, having support. And you mentioned like, if you're trying to eat healthy and your partner's not, that's a problem. I just want to say something, especially to all the single folks out there, because we listen for those small little things where it's like, partner, I don't have no partner. Look, you may not have a romantic love partner, but you have friends, you have family, you have people that you interact with on a regular basis. And so when you're trying to make changes in your life, if they are supporting you, that helps you. If they're not supporting you, it can hinder you. They might invite you to do things that you're trying not to do anymore, or eat places that you're not trying to eat, or not trying to drink, or smoke, and you're not trying to smoke, or whatever it is. Or you might have friends or family who will invite you to a Fitbit challenge, which is a good thing, or on a walk, or, to enjoy mocktails as opposed to cocktails.
Oh, that's so cute.
So it just depends. So who you have in your circle. And I'm not saying get rid of everybody who's not doing right. Don't act brand new like you can't love your friends and family, but just recognize what they can support you in and what they can't. So making over yourself and making over your life doesn't mean you actually have to necessarily get rid of everyone unless you have some really super bad influencers, in which case you do have to distance yourself.
And that happens.
Yeah,
I think that's where the whole ownership and responsibility, because everything that was listed, you have to have a sense of ownership. You have to understand where you're to be, how you place yourself in certain situations to support yourself. And so I just think that's beautiful, because not only is it the responsibility of others, but also yourself to how best support you and love on you in the time of your pivots.
Absolutely.
So I love that. Yes.
Absolutely. And then finally, and this is maybe one of my favorites, is don't limit yourself. Changing your behavior or some aspect of it doesn't have to be restricted to the start of the new year. It could be any time. And I'm really good about this. When I know I have New Year's resolutions, I start on them way before New Year's, so that by the time the new year comes, it's not like I'm trying to make changes. I'm already in the thick of it.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And also, to accept lapses is part of the process. It's inevitable that when you're trying to give something up, alcohol, cigarettes, junk food, that there will be lapses. I mean, we all fall down, but we get up.
Well, you know, and I want to mention something, because we've talked about a lot of the popular things people are trying to change. And I want to point out that these are surface changes that we are talking about. What's really behind the psychology behind what you want to change and your reason why. That's very important. Why do you want to not eat junk food or snack food? For some people, they will tell you it's really about the dress size they want to wear. For other people, it's about, you know, they're trying to lower their blood pressure, or they're trying to relieve their arthritis, or they want to be around for their children. So it's really important, the motivation, or motivation is not the right word. I would say the intention.
Yes.
What is it that you're really intending to get out of the change? Because sometimes when you don't feel like doing that new habit, that healthier habit, or that better for you habit, sometimes when you don't feel like doing it, if you can reconnect with what's your intention, what is the life that you're hoping to lead after you have successfully implemented these changes in your life, then that can keep you going.
I love it.
But we get bored quickly. And so we go back to, we want to, as human beings, regress back to our norm, our homeostasis. We have our comfort zones. I love my comfort zones personally. So, and as a therapist, I know that no matter how well intended you are, it can be very difficult to change. So I want to encourage people to not give up.
Yes.
It really is about coming back to picking yourself up and starting over again every day with whatever the changes you want to make.
Yes, I love that. So what I hear you saying is keep your eye on the prize.
Right.
You know?
I love that.
And we always, you know, it's inevitable, like the research says, it's inevitable that you're going to have those moments where you fall off, right? And I think that makes it easy for us to give ourselves permission to just let it go. But I feel like the recovery is the strongest part. Just know you'll fall off that horse, but be ready for that moment.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on the prize and get on back up on that horse and keep moving towards those goals. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
One in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, good morning, and this is Daisy Mack in for Dr. Pamela, and we're talking about the pivot of the change. I'm joined by Ruby Blow and also by Mrs. Donnell Porcher, and we are talking, right now we're going to talk about the Balance Challenge. All right, Love Your Life Challenge. That's our challenge for today, and it is brought to you by BBLA Cosmetics. Breathe Beauty LA. Breathe Beauty LA, the cosmetic company that is responsible for the look on Dr. Pam's face every week. Check them out at www.breathebeautyla.com. So, you guys, if you watch Dr. Pam, you see that she always looks fantastic.
Yeah, slay.
Whenever I come, I'm like, I got to beat that face because I got to compete with that all that beauty. And so, yeah, BBLA is responsible for her look. So, you guys, you know, make sure that you check them out, okay? So, Balance Challenge.
I've got it. Daisy.
Okay, what is it?
It just came to me. I do my best work spontaneously.
Okay.
Okay. What everyone needs who is trying to make a change or do anything different in their life, and I think someone might have mentioned it earlier, is you need an accountability partner. So it doesn't matter to me if it's fitness, if it's financial, if it's improved communication, if it's making your bed, being more organized, better time management. I think one thing that everyone could challenge themselves to do is to identify an accountability partner. This is someone that you will speak with regularly who's also trying to make some kind of change in their life. It doesn't have to be the same change that you're trying to make.
Okay.
But someone that you would check in with, like, say, at least once a week, and you guys have a committed time. This is when we're going to check in. I kind of have an accountability partner right now in terms of I'm trying to learn more about investing and finance. And so I'm realizing, wow, we actually do check in at least once a week and spend time talking about or engaging in discussions about investing. And that makes a huge difference with staying on track. So I want to challenge everyone to get an accountability partner if you don't have one.
Oh, I love that. So let's say it's a two-part balance challenge. One part is to set those goals. And then part two is to have an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's
That is
good.
so awesome. And it kind of goes in sync with what the research says, is that bring someone else in, right? So that person is gonna, that helps to give you like some sort of measure and accountability.
Yeah, it's like, what will you do? What do you do when no one is watching, right? It's really about discipline. You know, most of our bad habits are a function of just being undisciplined. Right? So when no one's watching and we're left to our own devices, what kind of choices do we make? If a tree falls in the woods and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? Right? So if I'm making a healthy food choice and no one's there to witness it, does it count? Absolutely. It does. But sometimes it just doesn't feel as good. Let's face it, we're human beings. We're social beings. Connection matters. Even if you're an introvert like me, it matters to have some support partners in your life.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So accountability partners, you guys. We're going to be coming right back very soon with love letters, and stay tuned.
Love letters. Oh my goodness.
On the live exchange.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Oh, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, from remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Good morning. I'm Daisy Ann for Dr. Pamela, and now we're going to have Love Letters. Today, Love Letters is brought to you by Write, Pitch, Publish, the Innovative Writers Conference Literary Agents. Get your manuscript reviewed and learn from experts. Coming April 7th to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Go to www.writepitchpublish.com for details. Okay, so today's love letter reads as so. Dear Dr. Pamela, it seems like every time I meet a new guy, no matter where I meet him, the results are always the same. They really don't want anything real. It's just a game for them. My married friends tell me that because this keeps happening, the problem is not everyone else, but has to be me. I get it, but I honestly don't see it. I don't know how the problem could be me. When I do all the right things, I'm loving, faithful, educated, smart, attractive, but I still end up in really bad dating situations. How can I figure out what I'm doing wrong? Destiny.
It just got hotter in here.
Ooh, Destiny.
Lord.
She said, I'm doing everything
Destiny.
right.
Let's see if we could change your destiny.
Okay, before we talk about this, I just want to make a statement.
Okay.
I guess it's kind of already talking about it, but I feel that there's a lot of blame on single women in particular. Mm-hmm. And even though people are trying to be helpful and pointing out if the common denominator is you, then you must be the problem. I think what they're really intending to say is you can be empowered.
Oh, yes.
And,
I like that.
and empowering someone is different than blaming them.
Oh,
and I can
yes.
just hear the blame and shame all over that letter. And that's why I started getting hot.
Yes.
Because I'm tired of the blame. You are empowered. And I think often, I'm a single woman myself, despite what I've told, anybody who might be watching. Okay. And so I think what happens is you can know pretty early on that someone's not serious, someone's not interested. But sometimes you're allowing something to continue that you should just drop.
Okay.
So this is an actual person, actual letter. I would just encourage her. I don't know if she'll hear this answer if she's a regular listener. I would encourage her to just really trust her instincts and not stretch hope. Mm-hmm. When someone's not being responsive, when someone's not inviting you on a real date and following through, when someone's not returning your calls or initiating calling you, just let it go. Don't add that to this idea that you did something wrong when you can just not engage with people who are not engaging with you properly, and then it's not a loss. And so you only then deal with the people who really are showing up. That's just my take on it. I want to hear what you all have to say.
I think that's great. Because, personally, I'm not single, so, I'm just saying. But I have been single for a very long time, and I've been this girl, and so I get it, and I can relate to it, and I love what you're saying, because it's empowering. So instead of, being a victim or because this kind of stuff can eat away at your confidence.
There's so many videos of other women who are telling single women why they're single, why they're not married, why this man don't want you. You're not cooking. You're not subservient enough. You need to learn how to let a man lead. I mean, it's so ugly and vicious. And the truth is, every woman who is single could be in a relationship.
Yes.
It's just a matter of what's the quality of that relationship.
Yes.
And so let's not pretend that everybody's in a relationship is in a quality relationship. Some relationships that have missed you, it has been your great blessing.
Yes.
Trust and believe it has been your great honor and # blessing not to be in that relationship. So I want to speak up a little bit for singlehood, because I'm not single and lonely. I'm not single and searching. I'm single and fulfilled.
Say that
and
again.
So
You are single
and fulfilled.
You guys listen.
And that attracts a certain amount of energy. There are wonderful quality men who show up. They just may not be the right guy for me.
And it's okay to let them go.
And you let them go. And then there might be some less wonderful guys that show up, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you just wish them peace be on your way.
Yes.
And so I think we make it too much of a tragedy,
Yes.
singlehood.
Yes.
And if I could change one thing that's beyond myself to change, really, it would be the attitude we have about singlehood for men and for women.
Preach.
I mean, there's nothing less attractive than the single person who's going on and on about how lonely they are.
Oh my God.
Lord bless their hearts.
I just
cut
want
it
to add
out.
because it's beautiful, all the stuff that's being shared. But on addition, again, Miss Destiny, are you in the meantime?
Oh yeah, back to Destiny.
Yeah, well, no, you're good. No, it's all
totally
sorry.
for
All
Destiny.
for us. But in the meantime, as you are so sorry, I always share again, what is it that you are willing to attract? And again, if you are not doing the things like the expectations that you have of, or whatever it is that you are seeking, are you applying them to yourself?
That's a good point.
Are you dating yourself right now?
Oh, yes. I love that.
I mean,
Date yourself.
to me, that's. I mean, because there's nothing wrong with being single.
Yes.
Because when you're normally in rapport relationship with others, you get to learn about yourself even more.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like, again, are you in relationship with yourself right now? And the things that you are seeking, because many times we attract whatever it is that's going on internally. Are you dating yourself to find out who you are, so that whatever it is that you are attracting, you can really attract it?
Oh, I love that, Danae.
So
I love
date
that.
yourself. Enjoy being where it is that you are in this moment, because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Singlehood is a beautiful
It's
affair.
life.
But it's a beautiful. It's a beautiful
it
affair,
is.
and it's more than one person.
We all, for the most part, come into this world single.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I was born as a twin, so I didn't literally come into the world on my own.
I was going to ask, what's the part?
But my point is that there is some type of tragedy that has been assigned to just you as a person in the world. And you can be in a relationship and then not be. You can become divorced. You can become widowed. I have good friends who have been in those circumstances. I don't want people to think that their value, their worth, and their being is defined upon whether they're in a relationship. I think relationships can be beautiful. I'm not down on negative about relationships themselves. And I think sometimes people misuse the law of attraction. I want you to think of it like this. When you are vibrating on your highest level, when you love yourself, when you are connected with self, then lots of people are going to be attracted to that. And then you get to decide who gets to stay in that wonderful presence and who does not.
Another thing I would love to propose real quick. Why is it that you think that you are single? Because there's more than one person that's standing in your presence right now. So I just want to put that out there.
You get now.
Destiny.
She's going to a spiritual plane right there with us. She just took us there.
I love it.
It's more.
You are never alone.
Why are you single?
We'll be right back with the live exchange.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech. Meet former Dallas Cowboy Sherman Williams as he makes his way through Atlanta to Arlington, Texas for the release of Crimson Cowboy, Peace Between the Lines. Don't miss your time to gain valuable insight on how to avoid the pitfalls of success. For appearance information, please go to info@palmerwilliamsgroup.org.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath water to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school? Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions? No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school? Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul. No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework. Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review? No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized. I think I understand. Oh, good. Finding best potatoes for French fries. No! Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold. Why don't you understand me? Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council. You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp. I can probably hit the green from here. Probably. Can I get a mulligan? Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Good morning, and welcome to the Live Exchange, where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1. I'm Daisy Mack of Peasy Heads, sitting in for Dr. Pamela, and today we are going to discuss the power of the pivot when it's time to change your life. Today I am joined by licensed professional counselor Ruby Blow and Miss Danelle Porcher. So this is a juicy topic, you guys, and I am loving it. I'm really excited. Just to kind of open everything up, Ruby and I had an experience a couple of days ago. Shout out to my girl Stacey James in the Virgin Highlands, in the Virgin Islands. In the Virgin Islands. So for those of you who don't know, I am a natural stylist. I have a natural hair salon, and I specialize in working with locks and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And so Stacey came in. She has dreadlocks all the way down to her waist.
Yeah.
And she decided she wanted to cut the dreadlocks off. And it was because she had been through a lot in her life, and she
especially
was
in the last year or so, couple of years,
and we all know about the storms and everything that happened that devastated that island, and many other islands and places, but she experienced that amongst some other personal transformations, and so she was ready to make a change in her life, a stark change, and so it started with her cutting off her dreadlocks.
That's beautiful. Yes. That's symbolic.
Yeah, I mean, I was really inspired by Stacey. I was there, getting my wash and interlock, as I do.
Yes.
And Stacey was, I think, the appointment after. I stayed to dry my hair because it was super freezing cold, as everyone's cold right now. And then Stacey came in with these long locks and really just this amazing energy. And so she's, you had told me that someone was going to get their locks cut, and so I stayed. And one of the reasons why I was inspired by her is because, our topic, the power of the pivot, when it's time to change your life, a lot of times it's time to change your life when something big has happened, something external has happened that has forced change upon you. And you can either decide to go with that wave and go with the change, or you can resist. And I think Stacey cutting off her locks is not just symbolic, but it's an actual act of embracing change and saying life is not going to be what it was before, and now I'm going to move into a different phase.
Yes.
And so so basically sometimes change happens because something happens to you, a car accident, an illness, a death of a loved one, a big storm coming through, a marriage, a move, a graduation. It doesn't always have to be bad change, but big change can lead to you either deciding to go with the flow and change along with it, or, bracing and trying to keep everything the same. And I will tell you that when you don't go with the flow of change in your life, there are consequences. The problems that you're experiencing get bigger and louder. They get more and more difficult. Think about it like this. Let's say you're having difficulty with your car, and please, my Honda Pilot is old. People have heard me post about it. I try to maintain it. It's vintage, exactly. If you can have a vintage Honda Pilot. And but you have to do maintenance to keep it going. And so when your car is giving you signals that you need to do something, you don't do it, guess what? It breaks down. That's the same thing in life. When life is sending you signals, red flashing lights, warning signs, and you don't do anything to change, then they're just going to get more and more frequent until there's a breakdown. And so I always used to have this saying, the state of your car is a reflection of the state of your life, because I feel like it's similar. What kind of maintenance are you doing? Are you maintaining your body? Are you putting oil in? You putting the right energy in? Are you, the right care? Basically our soul is encased in our bodies, and your physical body is encased in your car. So to me, it's a similarity. Take care of it, and it'll take care of you. Ooh. Take care of making changes in your life when you receive those warning signs, so that you don't have to have a breakdown.
Yes. I love that. That is your life is like your car. I love it. Yeah. Take care of it, and it will take care of you.
Right.
Yes. We'll be right back with the live exchange. Good morning. This is Daisy Mack of PC Heads, and I'm in for Dr. Pamela on the Live Exchange, where we discuss meaningful topics of love, politics, and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1. Today, I am joined by licensed professional counselor Ruby Blow and the lovely Miss Danelle Porche of SOAR. And we are unpacking some stuff here in relation to the power of the pivot.
Yummy.
The importance of changing your life, the power that we have to change our lives, and the ability to recognize when those moments arise that we do need to change.
Right.
So that those changes aren't superimposed upon our lives.
Yeah, you can either, listen when it's a little knock on the door, or, dodge when it's a sledgehammer coming through the door.
Oh, man. You said a mouthful there.
It's
and
true.
it happens. How many of us have been forced to make these changes, and then when you think back, it's like, I should have did this, or I should have did that.
Well, there were signs.
Right. It's like planning to move versus getting evicted.
And this is the thing, too, that I want to say I think is important. This is not a judgment against people who are not ready to change. It's just a mirror saying, look, this is how change works. External forces can come and show you that it's time to change, or even internal, and you can decide to go with it or not. And so it's not a judgment about what you choose to do. We each have to make whatever changes we make as we are ready. And sometimes we're not ready, and so then more warning signs have to come, and that's just sometimes how it is.
So let's pay attention, you guys, to those warning signs, and we see them when they show up in our lives.
Right.
Let's pay attention, and if you're not ready to change, you can at least acknowledge that need is there.
Yeah, think about it like this. Think about when you have a friend who talks to you about a problem, and they've been talking to you about that same problem for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 14 years, 20 years, and you're like, oh gosh, when are you gonna, you see how that person could make the change and they don't. What I'm saying is, we can't shame people into change.
Yes,
People have to change when they are ready.
We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's. It's time to save.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on the vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a
I
cold
want to be
day.
a football
I want to
stadium.
be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the
primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm Daisy Ann for Dr. Pam, and we are discussing trending topics. Let's see. The second hour trending topics are brought to you by Peasy Heads and Daisy's Garden Lemon Buttercream. Yes. Let Peasy Heads bring out the best natural you. Check out our services and products at www.peasyheads.com. Love that one.
Yeah.
So, listen, I want to go back to the trending topic that we didn't get to. A police officer in Wichita was shot and killed a 28-year-old man after responding to a prank call about a fake shooting and hostage. This trend is known as swatting. It's a type of cyberbullying. Actually, this happens when someone anonymously calls the police with a fake threat using the victim's address, which can cause a police SWAT team to appear at one's doorstep. According to www.cyberbullying.org, quote and unquote, this has most often stemmed from online gaming arguments and has even left victims injured by police, end quote. Should police be trained not to kill first in this type of situation? Should other protocols be put into place first before responding to certain hostage situation type calls? I mean, how would they know to use caution in a situation like this? I mean, this is really just, it's tragic.
It's concerning. I mean, and the reason why I say it's concerning because I feel like our policies, procedures, how we are to engage, everything about the computer, it's not up to par yet.
Yeah.
It's playing out, and I'm just like, how do we now match what is being experienced through the computer? Because again, with the bullying, with, in this particular instance, or even with the school age, it's just, it's concerning.
It is concerning. It's like the Wild Wild West out there.
Well, it's amping up and matching what it is that's going on in our current society, what is presently going on. So, I just, yeah.
Well, I mean, I have so many thoughts about this. First is just, thinking about the family who lost their loved one this way.
Yes.
It's so senseless. And then just thinking about, even I think one of the statements you made, Daisy, should police be trained in this situation not to shoot to kill first? I mean, I think hopefully they should be trained to do that all the time. But we know SWAT is going to be particularly amped up because of what they are intended to respond to. I always go back to the root cause. Maybe it's my training as a psychotherapist, but I go back to the root cause of a lack of empathy that exists, unfortunately, sometimes within our culture. There is a devaluing of, I think, emotional literacy, and there is a overvaluing of logic and rational, what I would call the feminine versus the masculine. And this might not seem like it's connected, but I'm about to make the connection. So you've got people who are gaming, and typically probably playing pretty aggressive games. A lot of first-person shooter games, even the driving games are pretty, violent.
Yes.
It really stokes up competition, which I think is there's value in competition. This is an important aspect of our culture for both entertainment, but also training and people like becoming who they are and in testing themselves and their skills. And this is the competition taken to the extreme. Not only do I want to, am I salty because I'm not winning or because I want to beat you in this game, I need to just beat you in life in particular. And there's a devaluation of this other person's life as a result and a willingness to put them at risk. Like a really desensitization to the seriousness of calling the police and or requesting SWAT support. It's like, how do we have multiple people? I don't know how many cases of this there are, but if there's a term for it, that means that there's a trend. And so how many people are literally so desensitized to emotion, to connection, to empathy, that they feel comfortable making a false report on someone because of a game, right? So this goes to a larger problem in our culture where I think we need more I think emotional literacy is the only term I can think. Emotional intelligence is kind of questionable because I think, that gets into some other stuff. But literacy, like being able to recognize our connectedness with others and being able to walk away if we're feeling like too overstimulated, take a break from the game.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to take it to that level and involve all these resources and risk someone's life.
Yeah, and being connected to the outcome and the consequences of your actions. Like, do you ladies think that whoever did this really thought that it could end someone's life or it could end, in such a tragic way?
I think both, honestly. In one aspect, because again, definitely agreed with what you were saying, Ruby. And in addition, it's just like, again, how much are you in reality and then have enthrottled yourself in this fantasy world? Can you distinguish the difference? Because that's how strong and resilient how the brain can work. Yeah. And I'm just like, how connected are you to the fantasy versus you actually being reality or in the space that you are in this world?
Right.
And I feel like it's a desensitization as well, because again, people are becoming more because of the computer, because of being able to escape. Can you come back?
Yeah, I mean, there is a virtual reality that's created in these games, and they look very real.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you're living it, and so I do think there's some elements of. I'm not saying that people are not responsible; they are definitely responsible for their actions when it comes to stuff like this. But certainly, people are trying to escape their own lives, and some gaming is all fun and games. But I think people who go to the extreme with it and then also have it matched with this desensitization, lack of connection, perhaps that's the risk factor that leads to this type of poor decision that someone got injured.
Wow.
And the part two, how do you cope with your feelings and emotions with what you had shared? Because I thought that was so insightful. How are you coping with your emotions? Like, can you handle your stress and how it is that you go about handling your stress?
Yes. Well, we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to save.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on the vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, good afternoon, and this is Daisy Mack of PC Heads in for Dr. Pam on the Live Exchange. I have Ruby Blow, licensed professional counselor, and Miss Danelle Porcher of SOAR. It's so lovely having these two ladies here today. Very empowering discussion and moment here. We've been talking about trending topics and the power of the pivot. The power of the pivot. So, Ruby, how does a person know to recognize these signs that are showing up in their lives to let them know, hey, there is a need for change. There's a need for a pivot.
Yeah. Well, I talked a little bit about stress earlier, and stress is an important teacher. Okay. So what are some of the signs of stress? It could be physical pain. It could be anxiety. It could be feelings of sadness. Not all of these are you've got major depression or you've got an anxiety disorder or, stress on the body and on the mind sometimes is telling you something's wrong. Something is off. Something needs to be different. And so I'll give you guys a really simple example because I think examples like help people to integrate information, right? So many years ago, and a lot of people who know me know this, many years ago I was in a very serious auto accident. I was in a Honda Civic at the time. Thankfully, I was wearing my seatbelt. A car hit me on the front end driver's side, pushed in the car. It caused a loss of cartilage in my left knee. I had surgery on my leg. I was told I would have to have 2 knee replacements in my lifetime. Thankfully, I haven't had one yet. And at the time, the doctor told me one of the things that will make a difference is, losing weight, maintaining a healthy weight, and exercise. And at that time, I was not one who was like going to the gym. I wasn't trying to, I was 28 years old. I'm not saying 28-year-olds don't work out. My point is I wasn't a 28-year-old who was working out and thinking about what I was eating. And so I would say the stress, the trauma of the auto accident certainly introduced to me the concept, okay, it's time to make a change, right? And fortunately, I heeded that call and I said, okay, let me do all my physical therapy. Let me learn how to go work out. Let me learn how to make my legs stronger. I got into Tai Chi because of that, which is a martial art that's really kind of a healing, beneficial martial art. But let's say, after a few years of doing the right things, I started getting bored and I started and this has happened off and on, so it's not just hypothetical. And I start slacking off. I stopped going to Tai Chi class. I stopped working out. I start carbo loading down, okay? F the proteins and the veggies, and I just start carbo loading down, and I start picking up weight. Now the warning signs are my knee starts to hurt, my knee swells up, I can't walk up and down stairs. Either way, that can cause some stress for me. But my point is that your body and your mind will let you know when it's time to change because you will feel the consequences of not implementing the change, whether it's something physical or something emotional like an unhealthy or toxic relationship. Some people think if they're in a relationship and they're arguing a lot, oh, that's a sign that we are passionate, we love each other. No, it's not. That's not what that means. That means that you actually need to work on respectful communication. And if both parties are not open to learning how to respectfully communicate, that doesn't mean you're going to agree on everything, but at least continue to respect each other while you're communicating, then those arguments are signs and symptoms that something needs to change. So what I'm saying is you will know when it's time to change because your life will get really uncomfortable, whether it's physically or emotionally, intellectually, even spiritually. You will know because your day-to-day flow will be disrupted. It won't feel good. Now, we're not intended to feel good all of the time. Sometimes we're just going to be at a space of just like everything's chill and there's no big up or down or of emotion. But if you're constantly under a state of stress, that stress is there to tell you something. Conditions need to change. And what are you going to do to change those conditions?
I love it. So you need to be aware and you need to be listening.
You need to pay attention. My massage therapist tells me, she's like, you know more about what's going on in your body than almost anyone else I do massage therapy with. Because at the beginning of the appointment, she says, so what's going on with, how are you feeling? And I'll tell her, well, the bottom of my foot this, and this is going on my knee, and this is going on my elbow, and this is what happened. I know I fell and I hit my hand this way. Now, these things might sound obvious, but a lot of people are going through life not paying attention to what the signals are from their body.
That's me. My therapist said, tell me if you feel pain. And I'm like, no. She's like, this hurts.
Yeah, and she'll know because there's a knot there.
Right. She's like,
there's no way that doesn't hurt. Right. So I would say pay attention. If it's time to change, it will show you through the signals. And change is a constant in life. It's not like, oh, I make this change and now I'm done. I'm good for the next 30 years. Like, change is always something that comes upon us, and we just have to pay attention to it.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I think that's so important. I know for me, things will start to my life will be disrupted by these different things. And like you said, something may be uncomfortable. For me, it'll come at me from all different angles.
Yeah.
Like I'll notice
everything
this
starts
one
to go wrong.
factor keeps showing up in different aspects of my life. And it's like, oh man, okay, tomorrow's a better day. And then tomorrow this happened and that happened. And it's like, okay, let me just stop and breathe and really just pay attention to those signs.
Because you can't build on a foundation that is rocky or broken, right? So if your foundation isn't right, then nothing you build upon it is going to work. And so sometimes we have to change because, like you said, the problem is showing up in every aspect of life, your career, your relationship, your physical health, well-being, your home, right? And so sometimes we just need to go back and figure out what's the problem underneath. Why am I resistant to making this next step in my life? And I feel you want to say something.
No, I'm just like, this is such good stuff.
It is.
Because I call it the check-in process. Check in.
That's great.
Yeah.
Check in. And again, we have each day to check in. And we live in a society where it's like, no, check out. And don't feel.
That's true.
Don't feel.
Don't feel.
Don't feel.
Those feelings are bad. You're all in your feelings.
Right. And, the premise of SOAR, as I said over and over, it's like, in order to heal some things, you got to feel it. And we be neck down just numb. And so it's checking in.
Oh, my goodness.
It's checking in and being able to say, hey, because like you said earlier, we do know more about ourselves than anybody else.
It's true.
And we tend to want to just check out and not know.
And the numbing that you talked about, it could be alcohol, it could be food, it could be, binge watching TV.
Numbing
it could be, the ways to just not deal with what's real.
And some people end up getting into the hospital because of the not checking in.
They've cut themselves off from, they don't even know they're having symptoms. They didn't even realize.
I just don't know how to cope with it.
Yes.
It's like if it presents itself, and it's just like, and you become aware, okay, so what do I do with it? I don't know what to do with it.
And so we live in a culture that's really like individualistic, that's really like, you can power through anything.
Yep.
And so we start to believe that we don't have human needs for rest, for comfort, for nurturance, for support, and we think we can just power through anything. And unfortunately, life will sit you down.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It will sit you down when you have too much belief that you could just power through everything. And so I think an important thing that I would be remiss if I didn't say is that you have to learn to say no so that you can say yes. You got to say no to so many things so you can say yes to what you need to be doing in your life.
Feel free to weigh in on this topic, you guys. Our phone number is 678-613-5857. Call or text us. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on the vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Now it's time to bring it back. Make an awesome mix of urban.
This is an awesome mix.
In the interest of science. 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 Science.
The research. Bigger benefits from group workouts. We're going to talk about that. Today's research on the second hour is brought to you by Red Door Consulting. Red Door Consulting, a boutique management consulting firm that prides itself as an innovative leader in brand development. Let Red Door Consulting upgrade you and your business today. Visit them at www.reddoorconsulting8.com. That's Red Door Consulting, the number 8.com. So let's dig into this. What does the research say about the benefits from group workouts? New study finds working out in groups can have a bigger benefit compared to exercising alone. This is exciting to me because I like working out alone. That's like my meditative time. Those who participated in group exercise had a 12 to 26% improvement in mental, physical, and emotional quality of life, says Dr. Dana Yorks of the New England College of Osteopathic Medicine. So this is not just about your physical change.
Yeah.
They're saying, emotional, mental, and physical.
It's the social element. I said earlier, we're social beings. So we need human connection and contact, even those of us who are introverts. But I have a good friend who would say, just work out. Like, that research is great. And especially for extroverts, that's awesome. But if you don't not work out because you don't have a group to work out with,
we have a problem.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So
hindering you.
Just do it.
You have to apply this.
Right.
It applies.
Right.
So the study published in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association followed about 70 medical students for 3 months. The participants could choose to work out in a group by themselves or not at all. Researchers found out that only those exercising in a group reported emotional and physical improvements. Interesting. The real power of group exercise is connection. That's what you said.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for people to connect with each other, connect with their bodies in a positive way, York says. Participants who exercised in groups spent 30 minutes at least once a week doing a core strengthening and functional fitness training program. This is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I
feel like I want more information. Like, I'm sure the people who worked out alone had some benefits.
They had to.
Let's face it, you get the endorphins from just working out, and you begin to feel better about your body and yourself, and you get in touch with what your actual hunger is, your actual thirst is. But I agree with the point. I'm not, saying the research isn't correct. It's absolutely true that connection helps people when they're trying to change or transform. So, that's really helpful.
It is. And and I get what you're saying, because it's like, just because you don't have a group, don't let that stop you.
Right.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to run out and join a group.
I'm not either, Daisy.
Research. I'm not doing it. I'm just not, I'm an extroverted person, except when it comes to working out. That's my time.
Well, some people really thrive in like the competition of a group workout, and I'm not trying to do all that.
I like cover between both, actually.
See,
I like personally working out.
So we need you to represent.
Well, it's kind of like I enjoy when I was working out, because I'm getting back into my workout on a consistent basis.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where before I did work out and it was like a goal and accomplishment, but there was a group that I became a part of and we became so like cohesive. It was 4 to 6 of us. Like when our teacher was not there, we would work out together.
Yeah.
And it was so
To have the support.
fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was supportive.
That's beautiful.
It was engaging. And it also, I just thrived on it. And I actually missed them. So shout out to Mo Explode. But
That's awesome.
she was just such a light. But I just saw where, as we worked out together, the social aspect, it was just there.
I have
and
a
it was,
question for you. When you, okay, we just have a second, but when you're not with that group or you can't get to that group, do you feel discouraged?
I didn't feel discouraged, but I was just like, oh man, I missed the opportunity to work out with my group today.
But you still pressed on?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay,
Now,
awesome.
yeah, I will still
Awesome.
work out, but it was, So,
Okay,
yeah.
great. We'll be right back with the live exchange.
You think you can do this to me? I'm the man up in this piece.
Sensation Station Network.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Good afternoon. It's Daisy Mack of PC Heads and for Dr. Pam, and welcome to the live exchange. All right, today's balance challenge is brought to you by BBLA Cosmetics. Breathe Beauty LA. Breathe Beauty LA, the cosmetics company that is responsible for the lovely look on Dr. Pamela's face when you see her here at the Sensation Station Network. Check them out at www.breathebeautyla.com. And I always just like to take a moment to acknowledge how beautiful Dr. Pam always looks. I mean, she just glows when she's sitting here. It's an honor to be here for her. And we want to send her some warm, well wishes from us all here on the show and all of our followers. We miss you very much, Dr. Pam. Hope you're feeling better. So, balance challenge, 2-parter. 1, identify the changes that need to be made, and
an accountability partnership, having someone who you talk with about what you're doing, how you're doing, and then you provide the same for them. I think reciprocity is so critical, so essential to an accountability partnership working. You bring something to the table and they bring something to the table.
Yes.
You're invested in their win and they're invested in your win.
Yes.
And so that you get that support and that connection that we talked about. And also, it goes back to what I was saying before, what do you do when no one's watching? So get you a watcher.
That's powerful.
Get you a watcher.
That is powerful because we do some things
when nobody's watching. when we think no one's watching,
it's always somebody watching.
And certainly for sure, like on a day-to-day basis, when you're making your food choices, when you're deciding to work out or not, you know, some people think, oh, it's silly that these people that post and share, they do it because they're creating their own accountability partnership.
That's awesome.
Right. I mean, I have a good Facebook friend who always posts about when she's working out and when she cooks healthy meals, and it's just inspiring and it's a reminder. And I know that she's continuing to do it, and she knows she's continuing to do it. She can look at her timeline and see it. So don't be concerned with how it looks to other people. A lot of people have judgments about what you do and how you do it.
Yeah.
Do what works for you.
Do what works for you. I love that, Ruby.
Yeah.
The insight on Facebook postings, because people do post a lot of stuff, and I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
But that definitely sheds a lot of insight on that. And then, you know, you guys, I want to make this real. I want to make this balance challenge real. For our listeners and for us. Okay?
Yes.
So what are we going to do in our lives to apply this balance challenge and to use this lovely guidance that we're getting from ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start.
Go start, yes.
For me, being an entrepreneur, running several businesses, and not just running them, but getting them started, getting them off the ground, I work around the clock.
Yeah.
I do hair all day. I come home at night. I'm doing Facebook and Instagram and marketing and administrative stuff. And I work 24 hours a day.
That's true.
And, you know, the reality is I can't continue to go that way before I burn out.
Yeah.
So my balance challenge is I want to set up some boundaries around my work hours, and I want to take some time off.
Okay.
Regularly. But for right now, at least one day.
Yeah.
So that's my balance challenge.
I think I like that, and I want to support you in that.
Thank you. So do you want to be my
Even-
accountability
especially,
partner?
Yeah, I will.
Awesome.
And especially as someone who's also your customer and your friend.
Yes.
Like, I want you to be well.
Yes.
But then
Thank
I also
you.
want you to be available.
She's like, you better not burn out.
No, I get it.
need
I get it. So I support you in that. And I think entrepreneurs in particular have a real challenge around how do we have time off? Like, I notoriously at the end of the year take a 2 week.
That's awesome. Michael Jackson.
A 2 week break, right? But I am actually sitting right here during my 2 week break. This is kind of a little bit of work for me.
It is work. Yeah.
Right? And so what happens is that I announce it a little bit, but it's hard for me to put down opportunities.
Yeah.
So I totally get that, and I mean, I'm happy to be here. Don't get me wrong.
We're happy to have you.
And so, but I think it's a particular challenge for entrepreneurs to say no, because we
It
love
is.
our work. Typically, we do work that we're passionate about. And how can I not say yes to come talk to people about, change and what it involves? So, okay, so what is my, I guess, what do I want to be held accountable for?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Right, exactly. Just like a list.
I'm doing so many things. I kind of go back to that advice that you were talking about, the research says focus on one thing. I tend to focus on, I'm an all or nothing girl.
So we're bringing you on home to that one thing.
I think the one thing that would make the biggest change in my life is actually getting sleep.
Oh, yeah.
I've been talking about this for years. I've written about it in my blog. People who know me personally know I'm up at all hours. I think part of it is that there's so much creativity going on in my mind. It's hard for me to shut my mind down. I almost feel like going to sleep is like taking me away from like a fabulous aspect of life.
Yes.
That time when everyone else is kind of going to sleep and going away and you have the world to yourself, so to speak. It's like at night I'm not getting a billion emails or text messages. And I can just be in whatever space. And so I love it. I love being up when everyone else is awake.
Yeah. I like that feeling
so
too.
yeah, and so, but it's not good for me. It's not good for my heart. I've had, I don't even know if I've really told you about this, Daisy, but maybe a little bit, but I've had like some heart palpitations. I had to have some heart monitoring going on. And one of my holistic doctors told me, you need to get sleep. You need to stop playing around. And when I say, I can go and have like a sleep average of like 4 hours a night.
Whoa.
Which is bad.
And function?
Bad for your health. Yeah, and function.
To a certain degree.
To a certain degree. Not as highly as I could. And so I don't know who can support me in that. Because a grown woman should be able to put herself to bed.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I mean,
I'm
that's
gonna
not
be
a comment
texting you.
on other things.
I'm gonna
but I'm just
I'm gonna be her accountability
text me and say, go to bed.
Go to bed. Real quick.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
I
sorry.
can't. I know we gotta go to commercial.
I should all the time.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
No. We gotta go to commercial.
Okay,
I
we'll be
think
right
it's-
back
yeah.
with the Balance Challenge on the Live Exchange.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is big business. This is the American Station Network. See ya.
To the Live Exchange. I'm Daisy Mack, and Miss Danelle is going to tell us her balance
so real
challenge.
quick, because I can relate to both of you guys. But at the end of the day, it is the rest component. And for me, it's like, as I'm building my business and in the throes of it, it's one of those things is working myself out of positions in my business.
Okay.
Because again, that is so, I desire
What
support.
type of business do you have?
Okay, so I will somehow, in some way, with some effort, overcome all risk. Risk being hurt, pain, anger, and grief. So it's a community, and it is experience where it's
Was that the
performance.
name of the business?
That is the well.
I will somehow, in some way.
SOAR. The acronym
Okay,
is SOAR.
SOAR. Okay.
Yeah. I'll go into details
Okay,
later because.
okay.
But all that to say is I desire rest, and one
Okay.
of the things that I've been doing and the practice of doing is having a day to myself.
Okay.
Out of everything that it is that I do, being a nurse, performer, producer.
Oh, you're a
all
nurse
this,
too?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're giving a lot of yourself.
Yeah, so
You
it's
need
one of
that
those things
day.
I've had to learn how to get rest, get my day in, as well as stop at some point, because I like to work at night. That's when my creative flow happens. So I have a stopping point that I put in place.
Listen, y'all, there's a reason
Yes,
why
great.
so many women are night owls.
Yeah.
Well, it's
a
we're
quiet
moon related.
time.
Yeah,
So,
physically, and
we're associated with the moon.
Yeah, it's moon related.
It's true.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
the
so,
moon energy.
so supportive.
It is.
Folks don't
And
really
men,
know.
men
Yeah.
are more associated with the sun.
Wow.
Right. And
But-
so for women, our prime hour is really 5 a.m. in the morning while the moon is still out. They say ideally get sleep early, wake up at 5 a.m. while the moon is still out. Do your morning meditation, do your
I've been
exercise.
wanting to do that.
And yeah, but you can't do it when you're just
You have
too
to go to
tired.
bed at night.
Right, you have
in
to go
order
to bed.
I figured
Get
that
some
out.
sleep. Yeah.
It's not happening. So awesome. Dr. Pam, I know you're listening.
Hey.
We want you
Hi,
to
Dr.
participate
Pam.
in the Balance Challenge.
Yes.
I think I already know what your challenge should be.
Uh-huh.
We're going to talk about this, and I am going to be your accountability partner.
Hi,
All right, Dr. Boone, Dr. Pamela. Dr. Boone is my chiropractor. My other
Is it
great
time for a
doctor
visit?
is. I'm calling her with my heart. So, listen, you guys, I hope we are being the example here by sharing with you our own pivots and how we are taking the power of the pivot into our own hands to make changes in our lives and also to have accountability partners. We want you to find your accountability partner. If you need me to be, I will be glad to. And we're going to apply this balance challenge to our own personal lives, and we encourage you guys to all join in.
And remember, that means find an accountability partner, set a goal, and have someone that supports you in it. And I just want to say to people, don't be discouraged. if you feel like you're not achieving your goal, don't give up. You've really only fully failed when you've stopped. And failure is part of the process. So keep going. Don't give up on what it is that I'm not giving up on trying to get rest. I've been struggling with it for a while, but I'm not giving up. It's still something that I try to speak into existence. It's still something I try to work on. I try to plan my days better now so that I can begin to shut down earlier. I did pretty good last night because I knew I was going to come here today. Instead of doing a video conference in my home office, I did it in my bedroom so that when it was done, I could start my process of getting ready for bed. You know, I'm trying.
Good for
and
you.
I've made my bedroom an oasis.
I was just about to say that. So there are things that you could do to kind of make that goal a little bit more inviting.
Yeah.
And Ruby
I
has
love my
transformed her room into this, I mean, it looks like a spa or like a luxury hotel. So that can help you to accomplish that goal, right?
Yeah, it really is about like creating spaces that I love and that give me comfort. I mean, so many people are waiting for someone else to show up in their life and create beautiful spaces with them or for them. And I'm saying to be where you are now. You could be sharing that with someone or on your own, but do it now. And so don't be discouraged if you're having difficulty achieving your goal. Just keep trying. Don't give up.
As long as you have breath in your body, there is always opportunity. As long as you breathe, and it's a daily thing, you have opportunity to change, to create, to do the things that you desire. And again, I will still propose, why do you think you single? Girl,
you talking to Destiny?
I'm talking to everybody. Date yourself and create that oasis that Ruby is creating in her room and all the different things that we are proposing to you. So as long as you have breath.
And that's so true, you guys. I mean, you know, I hope y'all are listening because this is real. These sisters are real. You know, what's being said here is so applicable to your life, no matter who you are. And I feel like that last point that Ruby made, is so profound because when you set out to do something, there's always going to be a moment of failure or a moment of pause or a moment of I dropped the ball. So if you go in expecting that, I know from my personal life, when I've had those moments, I have allowed those moments to give me permission to give up. It's like, oh, well, I already didn't do that. I've already gotten off the wagon, right? I've already dropped the ball. So I'm not doing it anymore. So moving forward, I've learned to expect those moments. And those are the real powerful moments because that's where the power of the pivot is
the truth is some change happens easy, but most change is difficult. Okay, so for example, about 4 years ago, I stopped drinking caffeine.
Oh, wow.
I was a Coca-Cola person. I have glasses in my house, drinking glasses that are shaped the Coca-Cola bottle because I was just like a Coca-Cola girl. Right. And, but again, back to my heart, I started having increased like tachycardia after I drank caffeine. And that happened for about 6 months. And finally I was like, you know what am I doing? Like, why would I risk my heart? And I went to a gathering, a spiritual gathering of like-minded people. And we set these beautiful intentions. I wasn't even thinking about changing the caffeine. I was just like being in the presence of people sharing like, you know, good positive energy with each other. And that next day, I forgot to drink caffeine. That's how it started.
Oh, wow.
I forgot. I was so energetic and feeling so good. I forgot. And then next thing you know, I have not had caffeine since then. It's been 4 years. Beautiful. Some change happens easy, but most change requires work.
Okay, you guys, let's keep that in mind. Thank you for tuning in to the Live Exchange, where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect. Join us next Thursday from 11 to 1 right here on the Sensation Station, where Dr. Pamela will be back and we'll be joined by Executive Editor Caroline Smith to discuss how to write that book this year. I'm Daisy Mack in for Dr. Pamela, and remember, love yourself to life. Dance confidently in the dark and dream wildly unrealistic dreams. Have a great week.
Sensation Station Network. Never achieved before.
Drop top Porsche, 40 on my wrist, diamonds up and down my chain. Cardi B straight stunning, can't tell me nothing. Bossed up and not
big fat